So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are, and welcome to another album review of The Shield on the Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today we're going to talk about the brand new album by the band August Burns Red. And for those of you that do not know the band, they're a metalcore band from Pennsylvania, and they've been around now since the beginning, like of the 2000s. And this is their 10th album. It's called Death Below. And to me, this is a band that has always been so consistent. Every album that they have put out, I can't say that they're bad. And in metalcore, there are a lot of bands that go into those tropes that they can sound similar, and sometimes they have like a very formula to them. And it's not to say that August Burns Red doesn't follow like a pattern, but I think that out of a lot of metalcore bands, they're one of the most experimental out there. And they always like has some difference in their songs, and they're not afraid to do long songs and experiment and let some songs breathe. And sometimes instead of like doing that typical metalcore breakdown, they have like instead of a breakdown, they have like an area where like they have like these spacey guitar solos and they slow down. And I think that really makes them stand out from a lot of their peers. And that's why I think they always release great material. And the last album that they released was in the middle of the pandemic. And unfortunately, I think that album went under the rug for a lot of people, but hopefully, Death Below won't have the same fate of that last album that I think a lot of people forgot that it came out. So this album is 53 minutes in length, and they have some guest vocalists on, I think, four of the songs. And you get an August Burns Red record. They have like a sound to them, so they're not like really doing something like really out of the box with this one. But uh, you can't knock a band that has consistently stayed so solid, especially when some other peers have like done like lesser good albums, and they have never compromised. And uh, I really think these 12 songs are a good representation of the band. Uh, I really think the vocalist is really sounding very tight. Jake Lurs, for them, is sounding as great as ever. So I really like how they're doing this. So this album has other guest vocalists. They have Jesse Leach of Killswitch Engage. They have JT Cavey, who I don't know what band he plays on. And then they have Spencer Chamberlain from Under Oath on the last track. And they have a guest guitar solo by Jason Richardson. So they have a few guest stars that, they help the album. So the album starts with Premonition, and Premonition is like a 2 minute opener that builds up. It builds up the energy for the cleansing, which is the second song on the album and the second longest track at 7 minutes and 47 seconds. The cleansing really, it's really good. I think vocally, I like how it sounds, and like listening to this album, you can tell that they're talking a lot about like what went down after the pandemic, because like the cleansing of the earth. I really love the guitars for August Burns Red. I think they've always had guitars where it's not like chuggy guitars, but you can really like listen the solos very cleanly, and they can have a song be super harsh and then have it be beautiful all of a sudden. And that's something that they do as well. Also, Jake Lurs has some spoken vocals that he uses on some of the songs, and sparingly, but he uses them in parts that make sense, especially when they're slowing down, and it gives like a sense of poetry to the songs, if you will. I think the songs that they have guest vocalists in here are some of the highlights of the album. For example, Ancestry with Jesse Leach from Killswitch Engage. There's parts of the song that they kind of sound like Killswitch Engage, but then they let you know that it's August Burns Red. They have those shifts in tone, and the bass on this album is so thumping sometimes. I really like it. It gives the songs like more oomph, if you will. And Jesse Leach and Jake Lurs vocally feeding off each other really work well. I love Jesse Leach as a vocalist, and I love Killswitch Engage. So I think that it's a great collaboration from them. Tightrope is the song that has that killer solo by Jason Richardson, and it's a shorter song with 4 minutes and 14 seconds. And what August Burns Red do well in these shorter songs is like they pack a lot of riffing into shorter songs, but they're always memorable. And when they do longer songs, even though they're longer, they flow well because the shifts in tone make them interesting. So yeah, I thought that was super interesting. And there's great like shorter songs here that very punchy. Like if you want to feel that energy, like Backfire, Revival, those are great. Then you have like an interlude with Sebink that goes into other like really shorter but faster songs like Dark Divide and Deadbolt. Uh, and there's another shorter song that I thought was really interesting with Fool's Gold in a Bear Trap. That one I like the guitar intro that it starts. It's very like atmospheric and clean sounding and pretty. But the album, really, the highlight of the album for me are the last song, The Reckoning. That's the Reckoning and Ancestry. The Abyss with JTKB is a cool track, but the long songs on this album that I have two, and the last one with Spencer Chamberlain from Under Oath, that song Reckoning really goes for a lot of like shifts and changes, and they give you everything that August Burns Red can do well. They give you the great riffing, the great bass thumping. They give you those parts where they mellow it out, and then it's get more atmospheric, more spacey. And when Spencer Chamberlain's vocals come in, it really makes the song like be a great album closer. Spencer Chamberlain sounds great on it, and I really like the shifts in tone and mood of this song. I think that um, the way that the song flows, it really it had to be the album closer. And I think that the band did great in having an album opener that's long and an album closer that's long, and then you have the shorter songs in the middle. But it flows. Something that I really enjoy about this album is the flow of the album. Nothing feels forced. Everything gels well together. Like sometimes when you have like albums with metalcore, like they don't have this flow that this album has. Like songs go into the other song, like it feels almost like you're listening to a very long jam, and it goes from the other song to the other. But you can tell that it changes, but it's never a stop pace and another song begins. It's like ever flowing through those 53 minutes, and I think that's great. So another incredible, solid album by August Burns Red. I can't state this enough. This is a band that I think are supremely underrated and should get more respect because they always put out quality material no matter what. Hey, sometimes they can sound similar, not a whole lot of changes, but solid as fuck. So if you haven't listened to Death Blow by August Burns Red, please do. And also check out the album that they put out in 2020, because a lot of people, I think, slept on that one. So what did you think of Death Below by August Burns Red? What are your favorite tracks? Comment, let me know. And if you like the videos that I'm putting out, do not forget to give me a like, and do not forget to subscribe. I have more content on the way. So until next time, this is Hector, the Shield on a Couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you, and good night.